What up guys, here we are back with another Dying Light 2 video, and I'm going to show you how to get some of the best weapons in the game, such as the bow, the crossbow, a gun, and also how to get some of the best melee weapons in Dying Light 2 easily. So first off, I'm going to start off with how to get the bow, since that seems to be the biggest weapon everyone wants to get as soon as possible, at least while you're early on in the game, partially because the craftmaster teases you with arrow blueprints in their shop, along with the skill tree showing off all of these awesome skills you can unlock for the bow, where you can shoot 3 arrows at a time or shoot multiple enemies with one shot. But you still can't get the bow until completing the story mission Let's Waltz. After completing Let's Waltz and you're at this new section of the map, you should get the bow as a reward, and also can find better bows as random drops and from shop vendors. If you speak to the craftmaster, you can get different arrows that do shock damage or incendiary damage, and a bunch of other arrow mods, which I think are the highlight of the bow. Like the explosive arrows are a lot better than the regular old arrows. And then getting this skill called Power Shot will increase the damage and penetration of your arrows. The crossbow, however, is a much better weapon and has some crazy bolts you can acquire for it, like the impact bolt here, which makes enemies fly across the damn map. It's actually pretty insane. There's also a ton of other bolts you can get, such as the frost bolts that freeze enemies, but those impact bolts are nuts. The only downside is that you probably won't be looting some of those enemies that get shot with it. You get the crossbow by liberating water towers and electric facilities and giving the water or electricity to the peacekeepers, who give you all of these cool weapon rewards. But best of all, after you give them 4 facilities, you unlock the crossbow. Before you even get to this point, you should have already cleared a water tower and an electrical facility, so you only need to find 2 more, and you'll get a few more by just following the story. But if you want to get it early, you can go to one of these 4 locations. The Houndfield Electrical Station is over here in southern Houndfield, which is located in southwest Old Villador. And then if you head over to the central loop, you can travel to the Wharf territory and connect the Wharf water tower to the peacekeepers. Or you can give them St. Paul Electrical Station here on the eastern border of St. Paul Island. That one is one of the most annoying facilities there is to connect though. Lastly, not on St. Paul Island despite its name, the St. Paul Water Tower is found on the Lower Dam Air territory. What's awesome about this crossbow and the bow is that they don't break, so they're always dependable. You just need to craft arrows for them. If you farm up enough crafting materials to craft ammo, you can just go around slapping raiders from the central loop all the way to Old Villador with just a tap of a trigger, and with it being semi-automatic, you won't even have to try too hard at all. The crossbow is crazy. You can even get a gun in Dying Light 2 called the Boomstick. It's technically not a weapon in the sense of treating it like the other ones. It's actually stored in your throwables / projectiles items and only has 3 shots in it before it breaks. But this handheld shotgun sends enemies flying as well. Maybe not as easily as the crossbow, but it's so easily accessible in panicky situations, since all you have to do is click on the accessories, making it a must-have weapon. Like if you're using a controller, all you have to do is tap the left trigger and you have it out already. You can craft this thing over and over for 100 scrap, but only after completing the main story mission called Observatory. Once you complete Observatory, you can head over to pretty much any craft master. I got mine here at the Fisheye Canteen, but you should be able to get it at any of the craft masters located at a facility like the one at Downtown Electrical Station or the St. Paul Electrical Station. I'm not sure if they need to be owned by peacekeepers, since that's who's running all of my facilities, but there you go, you now have a gun. This thing is insane, and even though it's almost more of a backup weapon, it's almost better that way, as you can just run through enemies, and combining it with the crossbow makes you pretty much unstoppable. Plus it's like the only gun in the game. You kinda have to get it. Guns somehow stopped becoming manufactured and then eventually died out, but somehow this one survives. There's only one gun that can be crafted in the entire world. Now we're on to another weapon, which is an Easter egg for Cyberpunk 2077, and what makes it such a great Easter egg is all of the glitches you'll run into throughout both games. I know I said in my review that I didn't really run into many bugs, but that must have sent some sort of butterfly effect of bad luck and jinxed me into oblivion, because I actually got a bug where I was locked out of the central loop, so the whole city I couldn't even get to until I found an exploit to get back into it, and that took hours. So yeah, I take back what I said in my review about not having a whole ton of bugs. But anyways, you can get these Cyberhands by heading all the way to the garrison territory within the central loop, and you'll want to head over to the VNC Tower, or in other words, the highest building in the game. And you can't do this until after you have it filled up with a group of people and the electricity is back up and running. That's all I'm going to say because I don't want to give out any spoilers, but it should be after completing the broadcast main quest. If you haven't been to this tower yet and it's also filled up with zombies and looks nowhere like mine, then you're too early and just need to grind some more. and once you're inside, you can head through the little hurdle of people and go in the direction of the staircase over in the far right hand corner, and underneath it should be an elevator. Take that elevator all the way up and then go to the top of the tower. Once you're at the top of the tower here, we're going to look to the southwest towards a lower nearby tower, and you're going to paraglide all the way there. It's a bit of a drop, so you might also need a bit of stamina, but you should be able to make it with 2 bars. You'll probably just end up drifting down and take some damage though. Now we're going to look to the south towards another tower, and guess what we're going to do? Aim for the bushes. And you want to immediately pull up on your glider because this tower isn't that much lower than us. Once you drift your way over onto that next building, we're going to run over to the far corner where a bonfire should be roasting next to a cool dude named the Liquidator. He'll have a conversation with you and leave you a present on the ground.
And there, I've left something for you.
And how did that get... Wait, what the...
And if you thought there were any chance of this weapon not being an Easter egg, they're called Cyberhands 2177, and they actually come in a blueprint. So if you open up your crafting menu and look towards the end of the list, where you should see the Cyberhands 2177, you can craft it. And after crafting it, you can head over to open up your inventory and equip them. You'll also notice that they're not a weapon with the highest output of damage ever, and actually come in the common tier of weapons, but they're still really solid. And what's crazy is the amount of scraps they cost though. They make making the Boomstick gun look cheap because they cost a whopping 369 scraps to craft. Still though, they're a really cool weapon, along with being a Cyberpunk 2077 Easter egg, so I had to include it here. Now what about melee weapons? Well, most melee weapons are random spawns, but there's a couple really good spots to get the best melee weapons, which are the gold artifact weapons, with level 9 being the highest. And if you don't know how to level that up, you can do it pretty easily just by playing missions, which will level up your stamina and combat, and in turn, your actual level. I have a bunch of different ways to level up your combat and stamina, which I'm going to include in my tips video, which should be up tomorrow, but that doesn't really matter anyways since the weapons and enemies both scale to your current rank. One location to get gold artifact melee weapons are the military trailers, and I've got a couple different spots that you can go to farm these early and late game. All we're going to do is head over to this location here where an outpost lies, and just below it on the ground behind these buildings is a military outpost that always has gold artifact weapons. You're just going to head down there and into the hatch on top of the container, and right upon entering you should find a gold artifact weapon. Now just east of us in the Trinity territory, we can run over and find another military location where you can run in and grab the weapon. These are lying all over the place, and if I have some more locations I'll put them up in the video just so you can see some additional locations, but I know for a fact there's 3 more over in the center that spawns weapons like this one here in downtown. Again, run in there and grab the weapon, same as the others. Some of them you'll need the top hatch, and then most of them you'll just unlock the door. There's another location here on St. Paul Island, just after crossing the little bridge thing, kind of floating on an island itself in this park area. You'll find another military crate here, and you can see I got an artifact hammer called Smash. And then run over just barely a few steps south of us, literally like right under the last one we just went to, find another trailer that had another artifact hammer called Smasher. In these trailers you'll also have a bunch of other loot and military medkits, and if you come back in about 30 minutes to an hour real time, all of these trailers will refresh, so you can run through all of these and go back over and over again to get some of the best weapons in the game easily. Paired with all of the ranged weapons I went over, you should have no problem smashing your way through zombies. But that's pretty much it. If you have any additional tips and tricks or weapons you think should have been in here, don't forget to leave them down in the comments, and subscribe for more Dying Light 2 videos. See ya.